is one of the films that I sort of call a beauty film, as opposed to some films I've done that are a little more harder edge.
They're some of my favorite. They're beautifully lit and beautifully designed, really special, and make the film quite something. And they elevated the film into another level. I think it's Paul Schrader's, I think it's one of his best films.
Writer, director, author, and critic Paul Schrader has earned his place in the pantheon of the elite of filmmakers who began their careers in the new Hollywood of the 1970s. Often referred to as the movie brat generation, with contemporaries such as Brian De Palma, Francis Coppola, Steven Spielberg, and Martin Scorsese, amongst many others, Schrader began his career directing and writing very personal independent projects that were created and released within the new Hollywood system in the age of the writer-director.
I was on that picket line every day.
That's right.
I'm still paying the bills and the money out of bar to support my family.
A controversial subject, a brilliant actor, a powerful and touching film.
Schrader's works have varied in popularity, some celebrated, such as his Bergman-esque transcendental film First Reformed, which was released to critical praise in 2017.
I encouraged my son to enlist. It was a family tradition. 6 months later, he was dead in Iraq. I was lost.
To less heralded works such as the underappreciated Autofocus, a biographical film about the life and death of actor Bob Crane, which received good reviews but then seemed to sadly fall out of public view. Whatever his budgets or popularity, Schrader has always chosen to make personal and unique films.
I know who you are. I know what you're thinking. You know what I'm thinking.
Martin Scorsese paid a heartfelt tribute to Schrader's career at the 2021 Venice Film Awards, where Schrader received a Lifetime Achievement Award.
The thing is that he's always somehow figured a way or adapted to the circumstances and the climate of what you may call the motion picture world or the industry in America and internationally. And he's always, in so doing, made the pictures that he wanted to make. Those of you who get discouraged, just look and adapt and survive the way Paul has and keep going, getting your movies made the way Paul does.
For me, Schrader is always first and foremost a student of cinematic technique. And his decisions to choose work on a personal basis that would offer him new challenges and experiences is what led him to directing the erotic horror film Catpeople in 1982 for Universal. Schrader said that what started out as an experiment to work on a less personal work that was written by another writer turned out to be one of his most personal films. Along with John Carpenter's The Thing, Catpeople was part of a cycle of planned remakes by Universal in the late 70s and early 80s, but due to these films' minimal box office returns, the films didn't really find an audience until their home video release, which is where I first saw this film and was drawn in by the movie's hypnotic, sensual beauty and incredible production design. Over the years, Catpeople's popularity has slowly increased, and the film has been re-evaluated as something as an incredibly well-made studio film, created in the last flourish of personal and unique films created by directors who were interested in cinema as an art form and were influenced by the European cinema of the 1960s. Schrader has said that Bertolucci's influence on his work at this time, in particular his visual masterpiece The Conformist, cannot be underestimated. In Schrader's own words, the most important name in the credits of Catpeople is that of Ferdinando Scarfiotti, the film's visual consultant, who Schrader has said was more of a co-director of the film's visual style and was only credited as a consultant because he was not in the guild.
Now, this again is a Scarfiotti set. When it was ready, he'd take you over and he would show you all the angles that the set had been designed to be seen from, and the priority of the angles in which to see the set. So that that first shot from the living area into the dining area, was the first thing that Nando showed me. He said, this is the primary angle for the establishing.
This shows us an incredible trust and partnership between the two creatives, and gives us a reason why the film's looks are so stunning. Filmmaking is and should be a collaborative art, and this wonderful trust tells us what a great director should be: trusting, giving, and a collaborative partner who understands that cinema is a technical art form and knows when to yield to creative forces that elevate a film from a narrative-driven work to a piece of art. It is this belief in a crew's creative abilities and being in a partnership that gives us Cat People's unique and stunning visual style. Scarfiotti had been the production designer on such works as Bertolucci's The Conformist, Last Tango in Paris,
You want to know mine? No, I don't want to know your name.
and Schrader's previous film, American Gigolo.
I'm being framed by somebody. I don't know who.
He would go on to work with Brian De Palma on Scarface and win an Oscar for his work on The Last Emperor. His career is incredible, and unfortunately he died too soon. Scarfiotti's work is some of the most beautiful to ever grace our screens. Let's pause for a moment and take a look at some of those stunning moments in Cat People. These flawlessly designed shots are moments of incredible beauty, and echo Schrader's words of Cat People being a beauty film. Looking at these moments helps to express the craftsmanship and skill of this unique original thinking and flawless design. I think it is these moments that must be considered as to why Cat People is an underrated masterpiece of creativity and filmmaking technique. Whether it be the wonderful cinematography of John Bailey, the unbelievable talent of the matte paintings by Hollywood veteran Albert Whitlock, or the practical effects of the film's art department. Cat People is a film about the overwhelming experience of sensual beauty, and has desire and repressed sexuality at its core. The sub-theme of Dante and his desire for Beatrice is also a creative influence on the film. The passion that lies in the film's design is, for me, a cinematic experience that has never been quite equaled. After the 1980s, Hollywood changed, and mainstream filmmaking became about fast consumer content and corporate money-making above all else. It is films like Cat People that remind us that cinema is about technique and original creativity, and that at one time it was about the work of fantastic craftspeople whose understanding and practice were learned and used to create beautiful cinematic experiences that could be personal works, but also pieces of outstanding technical execution. If cinema is ever to recover from its current state, it is works like this we must look back to that will help us understand the collaborative process and trust in creatives that filmmaking was once about. Although Cat People is slowly building up its audience still, it is an influential film to all creatives who see it and wish to understand the process of design and how filmmaking can be a personal, original, and beautiful cinema-going experience. So what do you think about the look of Cat People and the work of Schrader and Ferdinando Scarfiotti? Please let me know in the comments below. If you would like to see more films about the work of Paul Schrader and other filmmakers, please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for listening.